So what if you could build a high converting sales page faster and cheaper than hiring someone else to do it for you and without you having to build it yourself, or by using AI? Well, that's exactly what I'm covering in today's video, day 6 of the 30-day Hypnosis Business Funnel Build Challenge. So my name's Shane Fozzard. I've been a hypnotherapist and hypnotherapy trainer and hypnotic entrepreneur and coach for over 15 years. And I'm also founder of booknotic.com, an app which is the world's first hypnotic super learning experience based on the world's best books to help people really consume the content from that book and have them embody it as well. And I'm also co-founder of omnisyncpro.io, which is a all-in-one marketing and business platform designed for hypnotherapists, consultants, coaches, healers, to help them grow their business, to scale their business, to manage their business so they can do what they love to do without getting bogged down in the admin and the sort of the part of their job and the technology, which is the sort of thing that they don't really enjoy doing. Now, my mission is to help 1,000 coaches, healers, and practitioners to reach out and impact 1,000 clients in a really positive way over the next 1,000 days. And I do that by supporting them to really look at their business model, making sure their business model is optimized for the lifestyle they want to have, help them develop new offers, looking at the business mechanics of their business, and then also helping them to brand it better, to position it better, and then to integrate AI and automation and well-known and proven marketing concepts so they can, again, impact more lives doing what they love without having to get bogged down in the admin. Okay, so let's get into it. So this is day 6 and welcome back. There has been a bit of a delay for me getting around to day 6. Almost like close to a week has passed for between day 5 and day 6, and I just got knocked around with a bit of a virus and took me out of action for a few days. But this is the effective day 6. It's not necessarily the calendar or the chronological day 6. So let's have a look at what we're going to cover today. But before we do, let me just give you a bit of a recap. So we've just finished in day 5 looking at different landing pages for our competitors, deconstructing it and then coming up with an idea as to what could be our own landing page in terms of the structure of it. So what we now need to do is look at, okay, what's our color scheme going to be like? Start to assign some branding colors, and then coming up with a logo, and then going through a process where we're going to start to see our landing page come together. So what I did today was I used Coolors, because Coolors is a free website. You can go and check it out, and it allows you to play around with some different color schemes. So this is the color scheme that I chose. So the way you want to think about a color scheme is have a main brand color. So in this case, my main brand color is going to be this deep red. What do they call it? Brown red, they call it. And then you have a light color and a dark color. So my light color is going to be white, my dark color is going to be black, and then your highlight color, and in this case, highlight color is going to be this sort of purple color here. And so whilst it kind of clashes a little bit here, when you put the dark red against the pink, or whatever that purple is, it's not going to show up too much like that on the website, as you'll see. So just get some clarity on what colors you're going to start to use and lock them down. This gives you the hexadecimal code, so we know exactly that's that specific shade or that color. From there, what I then did is I wanted to come up with a logo. And so one of the things one of my kind of hacks when I'm trying to come up with a logo, and again, I didn't want to use any existing logos that I had, and I've got probably dozens that I've played around with over the years, and they're just kind of sitting in the wings that I could kind of pull out. I want to create something brand new so you could follow the same process. So I typed in self-hypnosis logo 99 designs. 99 designs is just a paid logo or graphic design service. So I know they get really high quality. The way it works is you pay, I think it's like $500, and it goes out to, say, 40 different people all around the world who are graphic designers, and they all sort of fight for the best design. So it's a really good way of getting the best design made for you, because you kind of eventually choose the one that's the best out of those 30 or 40 designs. And so I kind of looked at all of these, and I was trying to just find inspiration. What did I like? What was an idea that I had, and I had one idea that was kind of going to make it all very silvery and metallic. And then I came across something else that I kind of looked, which was a bit sort of simple. This one here, so very sort of geometric shapes, and I like that. So I thought, okay, well, so I put it into Gemini, and I said, so I took a screenshot of it. I said, describe this type of logo, and so it gave me this output as to what this logo was. And I then adjusted it slightly. So I added in like the spiral. So I was like, okay, I wanted to have a hypnosis element to it. And so again, I didn't want to copy this design, but I wanted to be like inspired by this design. This is somebody else's design. And so I was like, okay, what if there was going to be like a hanging pendulum? Even though we don't use pendulums, it's a very iconic, I guess, expectation for the market. And so I thought, okay, what if we had a pendulum in there, and instead of this sine wave, what if it was like a brain wave going through it? So it was just, different ideas that I had that I tried to then write out as to what was going to be in here. So I've got that in here, and then I ran it through Gemini. And so I said, okay, Gemini, come up with these. And so you can see it came up with 3 different designs. This one was a bit weird, not quite right. This one, it was interesting, but I decided on this version here. The far left here. So I took that one, and what I then did is I put it into Photoshop. So I took a snapshot of it, blew it all up, put it into Photoshop, and I made like a dark color and a light color. So you can see here, this wasn't the final color scheme. This is gold. Again, I was thinking about gold and white and black. And then this is the final color scheme, where you've got that sort of that pink purpley color there that kind of just shows up on the side there. Again, that's the highlight. And then the main brand color, which is the red, and then the white and the black. So that's the branding color, and I just want to come up with something that's quite elegant. So self-hypnosis and hypnotherapy program. So I thought, okay, that's good enough. That's a good sort of place marker for now. We'll go with that. And so then what I ended up doing was exporting these out as the actual images themselves. So I then go, okay, great, I've got some branding there. What I haven't shown you is whenever I make a banner like this, I always try to make a badge version. So a badge, in the way I talk, would be more of a square looking image. So it's a bit more square. And so what I did is I made another version where this title was actually down the bottom here underneath the main logo. So it made it more of a badge style. So that's what I always look for, is a dark version, a light version, a black and white version, so no color at all, and making sure it still doesn't hold the visual integrity of the design. And it did. So I've got another version which is just black and white. There's no red, there's no pink. And then I've got a badge version as well. And so I was like, okay, great. Well, I can tick that box. I've got the logo, I've got my color scheme. Let's go to the next part. And so this was a context file that I put together based on what I want to offer. So it's got my order bumps in there, my OTO, my OTO2. And in doing this, I realized, actually, I'm going to flip my OTO2 and my OTO1. I'm going to show them the certification upgrade first, and then I'm going to have the OTO2 come second. So OTO1 comes second. So I'm going to leave them named as OTO2 and OTO1, but you'll notice that the order in which I use them, I'm going to flip that. So it's going to be kind of counterintuitive. You'll see OTO2 is going to be first, and OTO1 will come next. And that's because I think it makes more sense to first be shown that you can upgrade the certification before you're offered something that may not be directly relevant to the reason why you signed up for the $5 offer in the first place. It's like, oh, hang on, I don't want this wealth and wisdom wellness bundle. Then they're starting to say no straight away. So I just thought, let's give them something here, and we'll still use this as a bit of a downsell. And so I just this is like a bit of a quick outline as to the entire business model for that first funnel. And then I just explain some other things as to, okay, how this is going to work, how I'm expecting to offer this. I just explain, so when people attend the $5 training, they'll be allowed to join for $5. They'll be offered to upgrade. We want to demonstrate the ROI on that upgrade. How we'll frame the event as well, how to make sure that it's going to be framed in the right way. So I'm adding some added context here. because I'm about to get AI to generate a landing page for me. So I went to the task and I just was really clear on it, which is, okay, develop a high converting sales funnel consisting of a landing page, an OTO. You can see here, I said OTO 2. So OTO 1, the first OTO, will actually be offering OTO 2 as the offer. And then the second OTO, the one-time offer, will then be offering OTO 1. So, that was what I was talking about. And so as I was describing all this, I'm like, hang on, let's flip that. Then there'll be a thank you page. And it's all to promote the $5 online self-hypnosis and hypnotherapy certification program. I put in the branding in here. I then mentioned, okay, use the logo images where relevant and use place marker images for any hero images, video thumbnails, and other visual assets that might be needed. I wanted to create static HTML, CSS website with JavaScript elements to make it impressive and interactive and with movement, so I can import it into Go High Level. I'm going to use Go High Level as the technology to build this on. So I'm kind of know where I'm leading to. I need to let it know, hey, I'm going to integrate it with Go High Level's email marketing CRM services. So you can use, just use place markers for the forms. I don't want it to feel like it has to build the forms, because those forms will be built within Go High Level. I just want to start to get a feel for how it's going to look. And then I'm not going to provide any additional copy other than what's already included in the existing documents. So you'll need to create this for any other pages. So if it looks through my documentation, it can't find anything, I don't want it to stop and go, oh, hang on, can you tell me what this is? Or can you give me this other information? I also just said, use video place markers anywhere that the video embeds would be ideal to use. And so what I then used was a AI system called Manus. Now I might bring it onto the screen and show you Manus. It's really powerful. So Manus is different from ChatGPT and pretty much all LLMs. So this is exactly what I ran here. So Manus is another platform. It's going to cost you some money, slightly more expensive than most of the other platforms, but it does a lot more. It does a lot more faster. It is almost like an agent, so it can run multiple things in parallel, which means if you ask it to create 5 pages, it'll create those 5 pages all at the same time, not one at a time. So it has that potential to be able to do that. And so what this did for me is it created a page, which I can show you here. Bring this up. This is the page that it created. Now, what this did, this page cost me, I think it was, and I'll show you here, I think it was like $8 worth of credits. So let's do usage. I've refined it a little bit more now, but the first time it went through, it was 800 credits. Now it's 1,300. So a rough way of looking at it is just kind of take off two digits. So that's like $13. So it's used $13 of credits. So, it's the way I look at it is, I had AI create this page for me, and at first it only cost me $8. So I was like, okay, that was a well spent $8. You've got put my logo in here. These are all buttons that it can connect and you can click on, and it guides you through. There's FAQs, so they're all filled in, and this happened in about 15 minutes. So I ran the process, and then I sit back and wait for it to go. Now, if I go down to here to where the forms are, it actually filled in the forms. I didn't actually ask it to do that, so it overlooked that request, but that's okay. I mean, I can easily pull this part out and replace it with the Go High Level. And I'm actually going to rebuild this in Go High Level. So this is just a way for me to go, okay, what do I like here? What don't I like? What would I change differently? So think of it as, it's rare that I think that unless you don't really have much expectation, you might look at this and go, great, that's perfect, go to market with it, away you go. I've got a stronger vision as to what I'm aiming for, and which is why I refined it. And I think I've got this one here, a little bit buggy, but what I asked it to do was put a video in quite fast. Now this is a place marker, so nothing's going to happen if I hit that, but just so you could see, that is where that video would go. So you got the headline, and above the fold, it draws an attention to the fact that there is a 2-column set up here. So you can always fill in your details here. There's like a bump offer there. There's another bump offer. There shouldn't be two bump offers. So again, that's just AI's got a little bit weird there. And we can, again, that's quite large. It probably shouldn't be like that. Again, there's some blemishes in this. It is a little bit imperfect, but I can have a look at this and go, great. Now what this also did is it added in details about me. That was what I thought was missing from this, is there was nothing from this. This is the $8 version again, and an extra $5 got me this version. So I'm now spent $13. And so I added in, who am I? And, people kind of want to know who they're going to learn from. It adds a bit of credibility to what's going on. So that was how I used Manus to help me get an idea as to what was going to be what the landing page was going to look like. So how I did that was I used this prompt here. So I pulled in this prompt and I paste it into Manus. That's what, within Manus, it just looks like pasted content.txt. That's actually that big prompt. Even though I had to then say, run this prompt using the uploaded files for added context, all the detail of the prompt is within that pasted content. What I also then did is I linked in those logos. So I dropped in those logos and you can see them there. So I had PNGs and I had JPEGs in there, just to give it a different sort of range that it could choose from. And then what I also added in was the ideal landing page template, which we created in day 5. I also uploaded the digital brain file for my business and product and brought that in as well. And so you can see that there. So those two files. Now I also brought in, I've got like a summary detail on the offer stack, all the details that go into the offer. I just brought that in as well. I thought, it's added value. It does, there's a bit of a redundancy there. It does double up a little bit on the details that's in the digital brain file. But no harm, no foul, I don't think. And then I ran it and it gave me, like I said, that output. And so, that's what I've done on day 6. Admittedly though, most of the time was taken up. Like I spent a lot of time getting the branding right, getting the logo right. Again, to be honest with you, look, admittedly the branding colors was like 15 minutes. Getting the logo right was probably half an hour here. And then this was probably another half an hour. So maybe an hour in total for the logo. And then just making sure I was really clear on all of this was probably another maybe half an hour to an hour. And then running this, it was, run it in 15 minutes, come back, check it out, and then just start to adjust it as you need to. And so that takes us through to the end of day 6. I want to kind of make it a quicker video. Now, what I would say to you is, just think about what's going to be your branding. What's your branding colors going to look like? Do you have a logo already? Do you have a logo for your brand? And that's what I've done here. So this is not a logo for my business name. It's a logo for my brand. And it's to position the brand as this brand is so valuable that it has its own logo. That's what I'm aiming for here. So I'd encourage you to kind of think about the same thing. One of the big lessons of marketing is that it's mostly packaging and positioning. The packaging is, are you packaging up your marketing so that it infers value rather than explicitly tries to tell it that it's value? I mean, you can put, this course is $100. That explicitly is trying to assign value. But if the course has its own logo and it's relevant and it sort of makes sense, and does that add to the prestige? Does it add to the value proposition? And that's what you're aiming for as well, because all those things start to have a compound effect when you put them all together. So that is it for me. If you have liked this video, would love it if you could support us for this as we're going through this 30-day build. You can support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing and clicking the bell. I'd love to hear from you, and just what's one thing that stood out to you from this video that you're going to take immediate action on. A lot of it is just having that accountability, setting your own accountability and going, I'm just going to do one thing, because far too often we learn some new things and we know what to do, but we don't do what we know, and we put things off. And it's about how do you stop that pattern from forming of keeping on putting things off. And it's about taking immediate action as best as you can. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on day 7.